We are legally-sis. Welcome to our podcast.
The information provided in the show is for general informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. No attorney-client relationship is created between you and Duran Duran-Schulze Law.
I'm Attorney Wen.
And I'm Attorney March. And we are part of the Duran Duran-Schulze Law.
Welcome to our podcast.
We've been here for 10 years.
I know, right?
Before we start, can you introduce yourself first?
Okay, so I'm Attorney Mary Wendy Duran, or short for Wen or Wendy. So I've been in the practice for 16 years. Actually, my specialty is in litigation. So I handle family cases such as annulment, declaration of nullity of marriage, custody, administrative or special proceedings like the change of name, correction of name, and I also deal with the real estate cases because I'm also a licensed real estate broker, same as you. So,
Yep, that is a huge, a long list of credentials. Thank you for introducing yourself. I am Attorney Marie Christine Duran-Schulze. You can call me Attorney March for short. I've been in practice since 2009. My sister is ahead of me by 2 years, so I've been in practice of law for 14 years. We've started Duran Duran-Schulze Law, she said, 10 years back.
yes.
I have decided to focus on the corporate law. So that would include contract drafting, review, business formation, tax services, labor laws, and even visa. So if you are running your business, you have a lot of questions on how to run your business, and that's my turf in the law firm. So thank you for listening. For this podcast, we would be discussing change of name. So
Yeah.
this is,
That's the first topic for
today's podcast. Since this is a litigation matter, this would be falling under the turf of Attorney Wen, and I will be asking questions. Mostly those questions that we have gotten from the website.
All right, sure.
So before we start, can you please explain a little bit about what change of name or correction of name is?
Okay, change of name or correction of name. This is the legal remedies that the person actually needs whenever he or she has a problem with regards to his given name. So, given name refers to or composed of the first name and the last name. Well, that is actually been decided by the Supreme Court. And then, the change of name or the correction of name encompasses a lot of areas or problems with regards to that. So you can either correct or change your name via administrative proceedings or the judicial proceedings. But for today's episode, we will just be tackling only about the process of administrative.
Okay, I'd like that. When we do administrative proceedings in correcting one's name, what usually involves?
Well, it really involves grounds such as typographical or clerical errors. That's the most common issues that persons encounters with, and also that their name is ridiculous or that their names has been the given name is different from their common name, which they've been using all throughout their lives. So it's like you've been given a name of Girly, but during when you were already grown up, you became Alicia. So that's also one of the issues that we have encountered. Most common problems for the corrections of name.
So when you want to do the administrative route, where do you go?
Okay, for administrative route, you actually go to the local civil registry office where your birth certificate or your civil registry documents has been registered or recorded. So for example, if you're born in Quezon City and you have a problem with regards to your name and you want to correct it, you go to the local civil registry office in Quezon City. And that's where you file your petition.
What do you usually need? What are the requirements you need to be presented before the LCR, local civil registry?
Okay, there are common documents that you actually need First is your authenticated birth certificate, which you usually get from the PSA or the NSO. And then supporting documents such as your baptismal certificate, your school records, police clearance, your NBI clearance, your barangay certificate, um, indicating your current name or the name or the correct name that you're actually wanting to or
To be
you're-
corrected.
Yes, yeah.
What timeline are we looking at here?
So this for the administrative, it's usually minimum of 4 months.
That's a
But-
long time.
Yes,
Can it
that's
be
a long.
expedited?
Well, based from my experience, no,
No.
because it has to undergo with the review of the LCRO officers, and then it does not stop there, but they have to actually elevate or forward it to the PSA also for them to approve it or review the document.
Who can file?
Well, who can file is the person who is actually involved. So the person who needs his name or her name corrected or changed, and then any other interested persons, which is considered as your immediate family,
Like mom or dad?
yes,
Sibling.
yes.
But would that mean you have to be a minor before they can file for you?
For minors,
It would be mom or dad?
well, if you're a minor, you have to be represented by your parents.
Do you always need a lawyer to do this?
Well, actually, yes and no. Really depends. Okay, it really depends on the complexities of your case. You can actually do it yourself, especially if it's just typographical or clerical error, because that's, well, how will you say it, easy.
And of course, if you have time to wait for 4 months
Yes.
and to gather all the information that you need.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake, you can do it all over again. And that would be like 8 months already running for you.
Yes, but definitely we would advise that you get out or hire a lawyer in order for you to exactly know what you're actually doing is correct, so that there's person who will actually review your documents.
Why can't we just use affidavit of one and the same person?
Well, actually, there's a format that the LCRO is looking at, so it's not really just easy as just filing your affidavit of one and the same person. So in the process for the change of name or the correction of name, you actually have to file it before the LCRO, and then they will have to publish your petition before newspaper of general circulation, and it will be even posted at the city or municipality.
Where you were born.
Yeah.
Why do you think people want to change or correct their names?
Well, people do that, especially if they have encountered problems like going to the DFA or getting their passports, and then the DFA will see, okay, your name is different from your birth certificate, but the name that you're actually using is, different also. So that's the time that you actually need, it's not really but you really need to change or correct your name.
Attorney, can we dive into the questions we received from the website?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello. My fiance and I are working towards getting my fiance's Filipino passport. But her mother's surname on her birth certificate is misspelled. How would we correct this?
So for mother's surname, if it is misspelled, well, you have to actually do that judicially.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's not in the administrative process.
Okay. Ask ko lang po, paano namin makorek yung initial letter of my middle name? Dapat po nag-start ng A pero nag-start ng E.
Okay, so that will fall under the local civil registry office, which is an administrative proceedings already. So what you can do there is file your petition with the help of lawyer, of course, if you want. And then submit the supporting documents that will prove for the correct name or the
name that you've been
Yeah.
really using
Yes.
since you were born.
So you can actually prove that by just like I mentioned a while ago, your supporting documents such as your baptismal certificate, your school records, NBI clearance, police clearance, and it could also help if you have your parents to execute an affidavit or sworn statement regarding to the what they call this, the correct name, and also their birth certificate of your mom or your dad, if what is involved, the middle name of your mom, right?
Yep.
Yes. So
Attorney, ang apelyido ko po ay yung sa nanay ko, dapat sa tatay ko. Kasal po sila. Merong marriage contract. Pero bakit ganon? Yung birth certificate ko palaging nanay ng apelyido ng nanay ko ang laman.
well, actually, under the new case decision, the Supreme Court has already decided that a person, whether he or she is a legitimate, can actually use the surname of the mother. So it's not really an issue at all right now. But if you actually wanted to use the surname of your father, they can actually execute. Your parents can actually execute an affidavit and submit the copy of their marriage contract.
Attorney, missing po ng isang letra ang maiden name ko.
I think that will fall under the judicial process already, because you need to prove the surname of your mom doon sa missing letter.
Mali po ang month ng birth ko.
Okay. If the month of your birthday is incorrect or there's a typographical error, you can actually process this via administrative proceedings and file it with the local civil registry office also.
Mali po ang gender ko.
Gender. Very interesting topic. So I think there is decision decided by the Supreme Court regarding that. So if your gender is incorrect, but it's like your gender is male as indicated in your birth certificate, but from the birth is actually you're a female by birth. So you will have to submit additional requirements. So those are the medical documents which should be issued by the physician, but not only private physician, but it should be from the government physicians. So that's an additional requirement, but it could be corrected.
Will that process apply to those without a gender in their birth certificate? Missing, walang male, walang female.
Yes.
How about missing a middle name?
Missing a middle name, really, it depends. So there are instances that if you're an illegitimate child, or say your mother and your father are not married or not legally married, so the middle name of the child should be left in blank. So there's no issue in that.
I need some advice about late registration of birth certificates or having a dual birth certificate. And I want to know which should prevail.
All right, the rule for that one, if you have a double entry regarding your birth certificate, it's actually the first document that will be released by the LCRO to you. So you cannot actually use the second one.
Even if the second one is the correct birth certificate?
If the second one, well, your remedy for there is a judicial one. You have to actually cancel your first birth certificate. So it's not just a simple correction that you can do administratively.
Attorney, I was married. Thereafter, I had my marriage annulled. I want to return my name from my husband's surname to my maiden name.
Okay, for that one, since your birth certificate is registered with your single name naman no?
Yeah.
So, hindi naman talaga nire-record yung pag nag-asawa ka, yung surname mo sa NSO or sa PSA. So, there's no difficulty going back to your maiden name. But your marriage certificate, there will only be an annotation that your marriage has been dissolved. So you don't really have to do anything to revert to your maiden name.
Okay. May problema po ako sa birth certificate ko. Mali yung nailagay na apelyido ng komadrona nung bata ako. May mga kasabay kasi na ipinanganak sa lugar ko, na rumble nila yung mga apelido namin. Paano ko i-correct? Iba yung apelido na dapat kong apelido.
Okay, pag ganun ang problema, dadaan ka na sa korte. Hindi na, it's not just a simple administrative proceedings.
Which we can discuss on our next.
Next episode.
Attorney, I don't like my second name. Can I remove it?
Yes, you can actually remove it. But you have to undergo a judicial process na.
Okay. How about adding another name? Is that possible?
Yes, also possible.
So, but it would still be under the judicial
Yes,
name.
under the judicial proceeding.
Maraming salamat, attorney, but I still have a lot of questions here, and I think a lot of people would want to ask more questions. Do you have some avenue to answer further questions from our listeners?
Oh, yes. So we'll be creating or we'll be having our webinar regarding the change of name or the correction of names. So might as well want to participate in that. And
yeah, just follow us down here, down there. Just follow us, and we'll see you. We'll see you during the webinar. We'll give you a link for that. Thank you.
thank you.